First Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by WeatherRate, sponsored by AC Designs.
Well, Tim, another afternoon and evening of a chance for not only some showers, but some rain, some thunderstorms, some of which could be on the strong to severe side. So weather impact alert in effect from pretty much now until at least 8 p.m. here this evening across the First Coast.
Yeah, you can see them firing up right over the Gulf of Mexico, and then it'd be interesting to watch what the temperatures are like. If we had a temperature meter, so my guess is right about when temperatures hit about between Panama City and Savannah, about 85, things start firing up. Mm-hmm. But I still find that very interesting, the transition when you go from it. It depends on what's happening, but overall, all things being equal, that we see the thunderstorms early in the morning over the warmer waters, and then once the land temperatures heat up, then we start seeing them cranking up. And there they are, Valdosta to Savannah. And there's Robert. Robert Sped is out there,
guys.
eyeballing it. Tell us where you are, Robert.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you. I'll do a little trivia for you guys here and see if you can get it. So first off, I am at the highest unofficial elevated spot in Jacksonville. So I guess the highest natural elevation in Jacksonville. So Ross or Tim, can you tell me where I am?
I think you're at the park. You're at the are you at the Timucua Park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ribault column here.
Love it.
Yeah, I say unofficial because I know there are some other spots that are like private homes and stuff, but this is a spot with the nice view there. And just
hey Robert, can I take a walk down memory lane with you? So seriously, when my girls were like 9, 6, and 3, one of them was learning about topography. And we took them for that exact reason. And there was a nor'easter blowing. It's like 35, 40 knots. So obviously right there you feel it. After we did that, anytime it was windy, that's where they wanted to go, to feel the wind. Yeah.
Oh, this is one of my favorite spots to go storm spotting. The thing that, to follow up on that there, Tim, when the sea breeze kind of sets in here, you can really feel it. And from the thing I've noticed, yesterday that sea breeze kind of built a little bit further inland, but right now actually the kind of low-level clouds are working from west towards east, and it feels like the kind of general westerly flow is just pushing that sea breeze back, so we don't have the wind here. And you can even see kind of just the clear on the right side of the screen, clearing skies where that sea breeze is coming in and kind of where it is colliding just a bit. But, this is a spot I would expect storms to start to flare up, especially towards the north. You can even see way off in the distance kind of those cumulonimbus cloud tops over Georgia here. It's a beautiful view, though, Tim.
No, I love it. So for folks who still aren't quite clear, so that is a view looking north. The ocean is, of course, to the east, and we'll watch. And maybe, I don't know, Ross, can you almost see what we were showing on radar? Maybe well off to the northwest there, maybe the tops of some CBs?
Yeah, very, very far off there on the horizon. You can kind of see some of those cloud tops that Robert mentioned. But, the overall just kind of westerly flow here, I think, is what is limiting that sea breeze from coming in and for any storm development to occur, at least for the time being. Things looking relatively quiet out on radar for the most part around the First Coast. But you look off to the north, as Robert mentioned, north of Brunswick, kind of between Brunswick and Charleston, South Carolina, there are some thunderstorms there along their coastal areas in the I-95 corridor, and actually a severe thunderstorm warning just to the north of Brunswick. So quiet for the time being, but we do expect that to change here kind of throughout the remainder of this afternoon and especially through this evening, closer to dinner time here later tonight.
And just one more little nowcast, and of course the models are much better at this than they used to be, but I do also think we're seeing the influence of the storms that blew up over the Gulf. We had that Cirrus outflow, and although it's certainly warm here, I do think that's inhibited things a little bit, whereas off to the north, we had that front approaching, but also they did not get those cirrus clouds, and I think they've gotten more of that direct solar radiational. There you go, 90 degrees at Valdosta.
So you're thinking just a little bit of some extra instability off to the north there.
I think so. And I think those cirrus clouds from that stuff in the Gulf sort of slowed down the activity here.
Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Oh, I was just going to say, before you guys continue with that extended forecast, I'll get done with my kind of nowcast part of this. And if I see anything, I'll jump back in. One cool thing I just want to quickly point out, I can't zoom. There is just a whole pod of dolphins out there. Absolutely love.
Wow, love it.
Here along with you.
Wow,
Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah. It can't really zoom with this, but just trust me. It's cool. It's a good day to get out to the river until the rain arrives. So I'll hand it back to you guys and give me an idea of where the showers are going to be.
Okay, so Ross, one more thing, because I know, Robert, I don't know the last time you were boating, Robert, but I know that a while ago things were still a little chilly. I just checked the Danes Point, or the buoy nearest to the Danes Point, showing the river temperature there, and right now it's at 80 degrees. So the river has certainly warmed up.
Because the surf's now up into the, mid to upper 70s?
Yeah,
about 77
I gave it 78 for today, yeah. And
Okay.
even the buoys offshore, even of the Georgia coastline, are now up to 78 degrees, so it's getting there.
Warming up fast.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Robert. So we looked at the temperatures out there. It's not just that, though, Tim. We got a lot of low-level moisture. It has been quite muggy.
Wow, look
the
at
last
the
several
dew
days.
points. Wow, look at St. Simon's in Brunswick. Oh, my
72,
goodness.
75. Yeah, so very tropical-like air across southeast Georgia. And I think because of the sea breeze coming in a little bit further there, perhaps, and the higher dew points, that's kind of where we're looking at is the best chance to see the heaviest rainfall and perhaps the strongest storms here today. That was an area I highlighted with Lee when her and I were on here yesterday afternoon. And I think just kind of looking at the current temperature and dew point, that seems to be verifying, at least for the time being.
Yeah. I'm noticing that flow coming in from the southwest, too, and that's working across. So, yeah, we could have a little triple point action working where that instability line would drop south-southeast, and then the East Coast sea breeze hits what's coming in farther across the peninsula, the southwest sea breeze, and that should really fire stuff up. Therefore, you have this.
Yeah, so slight risk of severe weather up and down that I-95 corridor. It does extend fairly far inland across portions of the Suwannee and the Okefenokee. So your storm threats, you can see them there on the side of your screen. Wind gusts, I think conservatively about 45 to 65 miles per hour. We could see anywhere from about penny to upwards of quarter-sized hail on a few of these stronger storms. It looks like, we could get some pretty significant updrafts. The rotation in these doesn't seem to be a big concern here, but kind of just with how the upper level wind pattern is, some of these updrafts could extend far enough that we do get some, fairly significant hail growth. So that's something we're going to be watching for, along with the obvious thing, the very, very heavy rain, which some folks south of I-10 saw yesterday evening or last night. And of course, lightning, always a big concern. So I have two different things here, Tim, that I just kind of want to look at, ingredient-wise.
Yeah.
This is one of them. This is convective available potential energy. Really, this is just trying to show the amount of heat and moisture and instability and energy available in the atmosphere for those thunderstorms.
I love how it paints, what could happen with the sea breeze convergence.
Yeah, and it's pretty much right along the coastline, I-95.
That's a great graphic.
As you kind of notice them, as you get closer to sunset, past sunset throughout the evening, then that begins to dwindle a little bit. So more than likely, the storm risk or the severe weather threat will diminish after, let's say, 8 p.m., but we still could certainly see some storms and some very, very heavy rainfall, even though the severe risk may have diminished after that point. This is another one. I talked about the hail risk,
Yeah, this
Tim.
is a really interesting graphic. Go ahead.
Let's see if it pops up. So this
There we
has
go.
changed a little bit over the
Okay.
past hour or
So
two.
it looks like it's
model
trying
runs.
to pick up on that stuff off to the northwest now.
Yes,
That's what it does with that.
and just to the north of Brunswick,
Right.
where we had kind of said there was some extra instability there.
Yeah.
So looks like maybe some penny-sized hail, Peter penny-sized hail. Earlier, the models were potentially showing upwards of quarter, maybe golf ball. I think that was probably overdoing it a little bit. So perhaps this is a little bit more precise and accurate, a better representation of what we could see here throughout the remainder of tonight.
So before you go on, I want to have a discussion with you because I think sometimes even I can be a bit confused. So when the Severe Storms Forecast Office has some of us under a slight risk, I tend to think of that as them saying they think there will be some severe storms, but the slight meaning maybe only 10% of the area, Or do you think they're leaning more toward, no, there's just plain within that area a slight risk that a severe thunderstorm might form?
I kind of think about it in the sense of if you have a marginal risk, 1 out of 5, that's an isolated severe storm as possible.
Okay.
Once you get to a slight risk level 2 out of 5, more of a scattered severe.
Okay, so
There could be some scattered storms that are severe.
Okay, so they're saying we do think there'll be some severe storms.
Yes.
And once you get to the slight level, we're saying that maybe at least 2 out of 5. I'm trying to remember because they do use an area that's like,
Yeah, there is like a numerical
I
part
think
to it
it's
of
40 or 50 miles, something like that.
yes, that like from this point, there is a certain percentage or chance. No,
Okay,
I
so
understand what
I
you're
just
saying.
wanted to make sure people at home. So when they say slight risk, that means there's probably going to be some storms out there, and we'll let you know where they're going to form. Even though it doesn't mean it. It might just mean if you just want to go straight numbers. So 2 out of 5 would be 40% of the area.
Yeah.
At least will be in the proximity of a severe storm.
Yeah,
Okay.
because to continue that conversation, then
Yeah.
you get to a level 3 out of 5, a moderate risk. I typically think of that as scattered to numerous severe thunderstorm warnings will
Okay.
be possible in that moderate risk area. And then once you get into, or I guess it's enhanced, sorry, that's level 3 out of 5. Then once you get to moderate and the high risk, it's very, very likely, you're going to see a severe thunderstorm almost, for sure kind of thing. So, yeah, I know the wording can sometimes be a little bit confusing because slight makes it sound like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but the reason we bring it up is because we think it's a significant event. It's probably going to
Yeah.
happen in our area.
Yes. So this is what some of the models or one of the models is trying to show here. So you can kind of see that East Coast sea breeze kind of pinned right up along I-95 in the coastline, that westerly flow colliding with it, as we mentioned, closer to dinner time here tonight. So Tim's going to be on air probably when all of this really starts to fire up, or at least that's what we're expecting. But notice just off to the north of Jacksonville, Camden County, Glenn County, showing a little bit of an enhancement there, some stronger reflectivity values and updrafts. So that'll be an area we'll look for a few of those stronger storms, perhaps, on that marginally severe side, Tim.
Yeah, there seems to be some consistency that all those showers and thunderstorms possible anywhere, more likely near the coast, but that if there's going to be the strongest event, we're seeing some consistency. In fact, with that severe thunderstorm we're now seeing near Savannah, that complex drops south or builds southward along the coast between about 6 to, and still could be on the coast as we get in toward 8, 9. Might even be lingering south of Duval, even as late as 10, right?
And it'll be interesting to see, last night, before I think the 7 o'clock newscast, you had even mentioned, the outflow boundaries were pushing westward out of a lot of those coastal storms. And because areas off to our west, so like Baker, Union, Bradford counties, hadn't really seen any rain or storms yesterday afternoon, that was an area that actually saw storm development closer to sunset, and then all of that worked its way back east. So, southern Duval, northern, and really even all of St. Johns County, Green Cove Springs and Clay County saw a ton of rain after the actual severe risk started to go down.
Yeah, another way for forecasters at home to think about it is if the steering currents aren't too strong, like if you had 30 knots of wind out of the west, it's probably not going to backbuild against that. But if it's light, they do tend to build toward where there's still heat. Right, yeah. And there was still plenty of heat left out there toward Highway 301, and that really produced for some folks. I mean, we had really heavy rains, obviously, but a lot of that they came back toward us, sort of a nice soaking rain for this time of the year.
Yeah, most of the now the rain wasn't completely done when the 11 o'clock ended last night, but I know areas like from Jacks Beach over to like Julington Creek and Mandarin, Orange Park, was anywhere between about like 1.5 inches and just over 2 inches for the most part. Did you see totals higher than that?
I saw, all I looked at was the radar digital, and radar digital indicated maybe some 4 inches, but those can be iffy.
Yeah.
And then over 3 inches, east of the intracoastal. And then my observation is unofficial, but for the first time this morning when I got the paper, which is at 5:30 in the morning, we had frogs croaking. Frogs were making their noises. I haven't heard that in a long time. So that normally means we've had a decent amount of rain.
Yeah, that's how you know you got a good one last night. So at least for your Friday tomorrow, first half of the day, probably similar to what we saw here earlier today and also yesterday. Fairly dry. We're going to have a mix of some cumulus clouds, some cirrus clouds as well due to that complex off to the to the west and in the Gulf. And then, pretty much by mid to late afternoon, we're going to have another chance for some rain and thunderstorms here yet again. The dominant flow is generally still out of the west. You kind of got that land breeze working. It's not super strong, but as Robert mentioned, and we've kind of talked here, it's doing enough to kind of pin the East Coast sea breeze fairly close to the coast there.
And there they are.
Yep. So
here it comes again.
Dinner time Friday night. You got outdoor plans? Heading out to a patio to have dinner and drinks, or whatever you might be doing outside, or even just the evening commute home. Be mindful. You might need to use the windshield wipers. Have a backup plan. Some other options for something to do tomorrow night, because certainly could see not only some rain but maybe some stronger storms, and these could certainly be some gully gushers out there.
Which is why we said, it's for the rest of the week into the weekend, the jumbo shrimp will be iffy.
Yes. Yeah, I don't have the jumbo shrimp on here, but I think they play at 7:05 tonight, 7:05 tomorrow night, and then 6:35 on Saturday. Pretty much each night. It might be a flip of a coin toss-up on, does a storm come right over the ballpark over here and rains it out? I'm not sure what their lightning threshold is for how far the lightning can be, but I know that's been an issue.
Yeah, they're pretty sensitive to that.
Yeah.
Now, this is the Donna Mother's Day 5K, which I want to emphasize is on Saturday, as it always is. I know some events around town have already been canceled. This event is a go. We have, I do think as we go from Friday to Saturday for the first time, so yesterday, today, probably tomorrow, the main risk of thunderstorms, and so that would be lightning late in the afternoon and the evening. Saturday, we might see some stuff even for the noon hour, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Saturday, we're starting to make that transition. But as far as the 5K, it's a go. But of course, we're hoping that we just maybe have some showers around as opposed to thunderstorms. But things get even juicier as we head towards Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, right?
Yes, very much so. I had seen a couple models showing maybe some light rain as early as 10:30, 11 a.m. on Saturday, maybe. So since it's a 5K, you should be okay. Most runners should be done by that point, right?
By what time? Noon? Yes.
Oh, does it start at 8?
Yes. I'm just making sure.
I mean,
yes.
Well, Andy might still be running at noon back there.
He's fast, but he's been known to get lost, is what we mean by that.
This is true. He likes to take that circuitous route.
Yes. Yes. Andy, we're talking about you again. How do you spell that?
CIRCUTIOUS.
I'm just going to have to say, wow.
I think I spelled circuit wrong. Either way, the 5K there on Saturday morning should look good. This is what models are trying to show Saturday evening. I mean, that's a pretty strong cluster of storms.
Yeah.
So once again, I'd expect some pretty gusty winds, anywhere from on the weaker end 40 miles per hour, but certainly closer to 50 to 60, 65. If a linear line develops, I would say the hail risk goes down a little bit, but if there's more of just kind of clusters of storms kind of haphazardly making their way eastward, still could see that hail risk as well. Plus just, the heavy rain and the lightning threat. So the severe risk isn't just for today. Tomorrow, it's a level 1 out of 5. Saturday, it's a level 1 out of 5. They may increase these, the Storm Prediction Center, that is. So just stay weather aware here the next several days. Because of all of the rain and the storms that we're going to see, we have a weather impact alert in effect for tonight, for Friday night, and then all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And also we've extended that into Monday as well. So we're not trying to, overdo it here, but because it has been so dry recently, and it's nearly, every day for the next 4 or 5, you have a chance for some storms, some of which could be on that strong to severe side. And it's over the weekend. You have outdoor plans. Certainly could be impactful to you and your family, depending on whatever you have going on. So we're not trying to
I promise.
But
what might be, maybe Andy can do this at one point. What I think it would be really interesting for folks to hear us, whether we're talking about the morning crew, the afternoon crew, as far as talking to weather team, to hear us discuss, because we really almost talk each other out of going to a weather alert day because we don't want to hype it, right?
Yeah, and you don't want to cry wolf.
We really don't. We really we want you folks at home to know that we're not doing it to get attention. We're just doing it to help you make better decisions. Speaking of, as we've said, Ross, this is like you said, a drought buster. We need it. I won't be surprised, though, especially if we start getting those strong southeast winds off the warm waters and the upper level winds or the upper level temperatures start to drop. If by Sunday we're going from a drought buster to are we beginning to watch the potential for at least some localized street flooding? But for instance, I think by Sunday we'll probably want to start keeping a close watch on the Black Creek. Some places like that maybe if they get 4 to 6 hours of heavy rain, you see sort of a short fuse type event.
You start seeing some issues. I had model data up. This is the Weather Prediction Center's expected rainfall totals. So some folks already saw an inch or two last night, an additional, anywhere from really 3 to 4, maybe 5 or 6 inches could be on the way here. So a very saturated, soggy look to your holiday weekend. For all the mothers and moms out there across the First Coast. That'll continue into Monday, perhaps a pretty strong line of storms coming in on Monday. And then, Tim, by this time next week, it looks like it could be pretty steamy out there.
Yes, for those who like hot weather, know that what you see on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday might just be the beginning of a hot event.
Very much so. That's all we've got here for you for now. So, till next time, take care.